Greetings and hello to this tutorial. Brizy is going to release its newest edition, so we are going to see here soon, especially if everything works out the day when this tutorial launches, we will see the new e-commerce editor from Brizy. And I got my hands on the beta, so I can pre-produce these videos right now. And what we are going to do today, I will show you how this editor will revolutionize the way how you created shops in WordPress and WooCommerce. And to do that, I'm going to create two websites. One will be a tea shop if you're going to sell traditional products, no matter physical or just digital. So this will be the tutorial you want to follow. And I'm going to create a pizza home delivery website. As you can see, both are looking exactly the same right now. But if you have a restaurant or one of your clients has a restaurant and they want to sell their food to people at home, this is the way how you can follow. If you were one of our supporters from the channel, you don't have to rebuild or follow my tutorials. What you can do, you can just go to our website, log into the community, and there you get for both tutorial websites a one-click installer. So everything you have to do if you want to work with the Brizy e-commerce shop, just go there, download our tutorial, upload it via FTP to your web host, and double-click the install file, or call it in the URL browser. Enter your database credentials, and the tool will do the rest, and you have the exact website on your server we are going to build here right now. Another thing I would like to say, building shops usually takes a little bit time because I want to show you not just the editor options from the new e-commerce editor, but I also want to show you what you can do, how you can do it, and what possibilities this new editor will bring to you. So I decided to cut the tutorial into different parts, and we are going to start with the first part on a fresh and new WordPress installation. And in this part 1 we are going to install WooCommerce and configure it already. So we are going to set up everything, and we're going to install the first payment gateways. So if you know exactly what you'd have to do when you start to work with WooCommerce, you can jump already to one of the following parts. So if you don't know what to do with WooCommerce, well, this is the tutorial for you. We will start from the beginning. We have here a fresh installed WordPress website. So as you can see, we have the basic hello world. We have some demo pages, no comments, just the basic themes, and no plugins at all. And also just me as the user. Okay, so to start with everything, we want to set up WordPress. So I'm going to delete all the stuff I don't need. This is the trash post. And delete it permanently. And I don't need the demo page. So let's delete that one also permanently. Next thing, there are a ton of pre-installed themes. I'm going to use a different theme. I'm going to go with Blocksy. Well, basically, what kind of theme you're going to use for this tutorial doesn't matter, because we will create everything in Brizy anyway. But personally, I like it. It's very fast, nice, and you still need the a theme to set some triggers, and I like just how Blocksy works. So since we are going to use Blocksy, I'm going to delete all other themes because they just are an invitation for malicious scripts and hackers to bring malware on your website, and we don't want that. So make sure that you don't have a ton of themes lying around. Just always use what you have to use. So next thing, plugins. We need to add some new. Obviously, we need to start with WooCommerce. So here we have WooCommerce. Install now. And what we are also going to install is the Stripe payment gateway and WooCommerce PayPal checkout payment gateway. Okay, both are installed. So let's jump into our plugin section and activate them all. Good. Now we start with the WooCommerce settings. WooCommerce comes with a very nice and nifty setup wizard, so we're going to use this one. First of all, you need to add your address data. So we are just using some fake information right now. Demo street. Country, let's stick with Germany. City is Demo Town. And the postcode is 12345. This one here, the checkbox doesn't change anything. WooCommerce added a lot of information here. They're asking you in their setup wizard, that's just for them. So they know if people are going to install WooCommerce for themselves, or if more agencies get tasked with WooCommerce. Now, if we're going to hit here continue, we get this pop-up. And WooCommerce asks us here if we want to share non-sensitive data via usage tracking. Well, if you're sitting in the European Union, you don't want to participate in there, because this would be just another thing you have to add to your privacy information page. And we want to have it as short and slim as possible. This one doesn't help you at all, so it just helps WooCommerce. Same thing here. This is just an information for them. What are you going to sell? Let's stick here with food and drinks, since we are going to set up right now the tea shop. We're going to sell physical products. No downloads, but we can add this in just for the thing. Maybe you want to sell some recipes or stuff like that. Or in case you are going to sell digital products, it's always good if people have the ability to download the things. The other checkbox you find here are WooCommerce tutorials, not tutorials, WooCommerce plugins, additional plugins. But if you're going to add them here, you see you have to pay more. And these are the annual fees you have to pay each year if you're going to use these plugins. By the way, if you're going to download the websites we are going to create in all our tutorials here on the YouTube channel, you get all the plugins installed we are using here in our tutorials too. So if you are downloading our stuff, you get, for example, the subscription and membership plugins installed in our tutorial about membership sites. So no need to spend here a lot of money. As you can see, you would have to pay 200 per year for the subscription, 200 per year for the memberships. That's already 400 and each year. and that's already more than you have to pay for our large and limited membership fee. So the membership is really a no-brainer. But you have to know, if you need support, you still need to buy a license key. That's the way how GPL works. Okay, we stick here with physical products and downloads. Let's continue. How many products you plan to display, currently selling elsewhere. This again is just information for WooCommerce, nothing for you to think about. Since I added here a no, he now suggests to add Facebook, MailChimp, and Google Ads. We at the moment, I don't need any of them. And yeah, well, let's say 1 to 10. Okay, now he's introducing us to some of their themes. Nice to have, nice to know, but we stick with Blocksy. Next thing, he asks us about Jetpack. Again, if you're sitting in the European Union, I wouldn't recommend to use Jetpack. It is a lot of stuff you have to add into your privacy settings page. If you're outside of the European Union, even there, I wouldn't recommend to use Jetpack, because it, well, slows down your website by a few seconds. And that's something you usually should try to avoid. And let's say the stuff they have in here, you can get on with other plugins too. And they don't slow down your website so much, because you just get a laser-focused plugin, for example, for the taxes, and not all the rest, the bloatware you don't need with it. So no thanks. Okay, this is it. This is the new WooCommerce headquarters, so to say. Here you can check everything. You see how your store is running, your sales, stuff like that. So WooCommerce now is set up. Next thing we want to do, we jump into settings for WooCommerce. And here we have to fix some settings he doesn't set automatically. First of all, if you're going to sell anything, you need to work with taxes, so we turn them on. Enable coupons if you want to work with coupon codes, for example, the basic thing, you know, from Black Friday, at Black Friday 50 to get 50% off, stuff like that. That would be here. And if you want to do this, always set calculate coupons discounts separately, sequentially. Pardon. This means they add up. So, for example, if your product costs 10 euros and you give 50% off with one coupon code, it just costs 5 euros. And if you add another, let's say 10% from that, it would cut from the 5 euros and not from the 10 euros before. So save changes. Sell to all countries is okay. Ship to all countries you sell to, and default customer location is the shop base address. No, we want to change this to no, okay, let's keep it like shop-based address. You also have the option to use geolocate, but for that you need additional accounts, and maybe it even costs a little bit. So for the moment we don't need that. So here we have our shop page. It's now called shop. That's nice. Add to cart behavior. Redirect to the cart page after successful addition. This is very interesting or useful if you just sell single products. For example, if you're a coach and you sell a special course, you have nothing else people could add or browse through your store. So you want to make sure that when they hit the add to cart button, they get already transferred to the cart so they can instantly go to checkout. Here in the T-shop, we are going to sell more products and I want people to browse, so I don't hit this redirect button. We work with kilograms and centimeters, that's okay. Reviews can only be left by verified owners, so this is the review process. And you want to enable product reviews. It's always good if people can say something about your products, and it helps others to buy your products. But what you want to do, add this checkbox, because you want only people who really bought this product to tell people if it's great or not. If you're selling, or if you're just reselling stuff, it might be wise not to add this thing, because people might have bought this somewhere else and think it's good, and they still want to leave a review. So it's up to you how you want to work. I leave this checkbox in. So inventory, it's basically by default it is enabled. So if you're working with physical products, you can say, okay, I have from, for example, a t-shirt 100 pieces, and then the counter goes down each time someone buys something. Same goes here with the downloadable products. This is very interesting. You can say you want to force downloads or work with a send file. If you are working with send file, you need to have a very special setup on your web server. Not every host offers this, so I would suggest just leave this to forced downloads, and downloads require login. That's very important, and has the good thing that people don't directly see the URL to the file they are going to download, so they can't just share the URL with their friends. They actually need to give them the login files to your website. Okay, next thing we go with tags. Here you have, in the first thing, you have to say if you're going to add your prices already with tags or without tags. So WooCommerce can calculate the tags on top, or you don't have to. If you're going to sell to final customers, it's important that you show the final prices. But here at this point, WooCommerce just wants to know, hey, what prices are you going to give me? Are you giving me the 10 euros and I'm adding the 19% on top, so I'm going to sell for 11.90, or are you giving me already 11.90 and I don't add anything? So this is again up to you what kind of prices you're going to add into WooCommerce directly. What I would suggest, because since you have to pay the tax and the country from your customer, I would advise you just to add the prices without tax. So you know, for example, you have a t-shirt, you're going to add it for 10 euros. So every time the t-shirt sells, you get 10 euros. If you would have it with tax already included, it would cost everywhere 10 euros. So yeah, if you're going to add without a tax, it can happen. For example, in Germany, it would cost 11.90 euros. There are other countries, I think Switzerland, they just have 7%. So in Switzerland, the t-shirt would just cost 10.70 euros. If you add the prices with tax, the t-shirt costs in every country the same amount, but you get different revenue out of it. Okay, so we are going to include the tax in the shop and display prices during cart and checkout, exclude tax there. That's okay. And display tax totals itemized. So I see exactly on my checkout what tax I have to pay for every item. Within the EU, this is common law, so just leave it like that. Standard rates, here now you can add for every country the tax amounts, or you're going to import a CSV file, so you have everything from somewhere else, or you're going to use a plugin, for example. There are some plugins. One is from WooCommerce that's pretty good, and they update these plugins by default, so you don't have to care about if you're going to have the correct pricing or not. Same goes with the reduced tax rate. Some countries have this. For example, in Germany, for standard goods, standard wares, you have 19%, and for everything that has to do with food or with culture, for example, you just have to pay 7%. So this is that. And zero tax rates you have usually when you're going to sell coupons, for example, a gift card. So you're going to sell a gift card for someone about 50 euros. And if you have different wares in your store, so sometimes people have to pay 19%, sometimes people have to pay 7%, stuff like that. That gets added when they really buy something using this gift card, for example. So you sell a gift card for zero taxes. Okay, next thing is shipping. Shipping only is interesting if you're going to sell physical products. And in the first spot, you have shipping zones. So here we can now add a shipping zone. We can call it whatever we want. Let's call this one, for example, Bob. And now we have zone regions. And here we start with Europe. So this is Europe. And now we can add the shipping methods. So, for example, we have here the flat rate. That means everyone pays the same price. So let's edit the flat rate, and we add as cost, for example, 5 euros. Next shipping rate, we have free shipping. And here you can add it again. And here you can now say what needs to be done to get free shipping. For example, let's say a minimum order amount. And now he asks us how much have the people to spend, so they get free shipping. For example, let's say 100 euros. Save changes. And that's our shipping zone Bob. And since, well, I'm located in Germany, I want to add another shipping zone. And this one I call Germany. And the zone region also will be Germany. And if you're coming from Germany, you get the flat rate, you get free shipping, and you can come to my local store and pick stuff up. So again, we have free shipping with amount. Let's stick it to 100. Everyone has to pay the same. Flat rate within Germany, let's say it's a little bit cheaper, for example, 2.5. And then they have the local pickup option just when you are from Germany. And all others have to pay, don't have this option. And for example, the rest would be then the rest of the world. Or other. Okay, you can't add world here. That would be nice. Okay, let's add Africa. Asia. Australia. Make sure you really add Australia, not Austria. Austria would just be one country, so. And North America. And South America. So these are all other countries. And we're going to add just the flat rate. And if they want to buy our stuff outside of Europe, they have to pay 15 euros. Okay, so these are the shipping zones. We now have 3 different shipping zones: my country, my continent, and the rest of the world. as you might have seen, you even can go down and add zip codes. For example, you can say everyone who is around me, just in my zip code line, plus some others, get the local checkout, the local pickup, for example. So if you're sitting in Berlin, only people from Berlin get the option to get the local pickup. If you're buying from Munich, for example, you wouldn't have this option. So feel free to play around with the shipping zones. Very powerful tool. Next thing, we have the shipping options. You can leave it as is. And the shipping classes. As you can see, this is just something, for example, you use inside of the store. If you're selling, for example, furniture, so large things you want to have as a shipping class, delivery by a huge truck. If you have also small things, you have delivery by parcel, for example, stuff like that. So in our example, we don't need that. So let's jump to payments. As you can see, PayPal checkout already is checked. This is one of the extra plugins we have installed. And we also want to add Stripe. Stripe, if you have it available in your country, offers a whole crapload of additional things. For example, SEPA, so you can take the money from your clients' bank accounts. Sofort is a payment method, I think, mainly in the German-speaking countries, where people can instantly transfer money from their bank account to yours. GiroPay, same thing with a debit card, for example. And these are all other different payment methods you see here. Alipay, for example, people use Alibaba. I think there also is Apple Pay somewhere, but you have to activate it then in your Stripe account. So if you want to use Stripe, you have to sign up and get a Stripe account. There's a link there, and you see it brings you directly to your Stripe account. So the Stripe account creation. As you can see, I have a Stripe account because, I like to offer all Stripe has. If you have Stripe and you have PayPal, you basically have everything people usually use. Accounts and privacy, very important, especially if you are located in the European Union. Let's allow customers to log into their existing account during checkout. Allow customers to create account during checkout, and allow customers to create account on my account page. You want to make it as easy as possible for people to create an account on your website. So offer it as often as possible. You don't want to have people putting stuff in their cart and then now I have to log out somewhere different have to go on a different page to create my account. I don't want to do that, and then they leave. So offer as many ways to log in on your site, create an account on your site as possible. There are also a ton of plugins, and we're going to show some of them in future tutorials, that allow you to create accounts with social media sites, for example with Facebook or Twitter, stuff like that. This is also something you might want to consider, because it gives the people the option just to create an account on your website with just one click. People don't like to type in their addresses and stuff like that, especially on a mobile, and today's traffic mainly comes from mobile. So if you make it as easy as possible for people to create an account, use these options. Even if you have to pay some bucks, it's really worth it. Okay, here you have the removal requests, and I would, if you don't have to deal with a ton of feature requests that people say, hey, please delete my account, I would leave these all open and do everything by hand, because that way you have the control about everything. In the email section, you have the option to change the mail address, and you can also, if you click here, edit a little bit, at least, how the mail looks. But there are also plugins for WooCommerce you can use to customize your the mails you send out, so you can add your logos and stuff like that. And in the future, we are going to look at some of these plugins you can use to optimize WooCommerce. At the moment, we don't want to do this. It would just take up too much time, and we want to create the shop as fast as possible. Here is the geolocation I meant before. You see the license key. We don't need that one right now. And in the advanced tab, you have the REST API, webhooks, stuff like that. Things you need if your shop wants to communicate with another service, for example, print on demand stuff and stuff like that. You have to deal with that there. So, but that's also not within our today's task. So we are now finished with setting up WooCommerce. And let's create our first product. No, we don't do that right now. Let's install some more plugins first. I created already, I prepared already some plugins we need for today. So first of all, we need Brizy, of course. And I also want to use a plugin called Happyfiles. Happyfiles is very nice because you can, it helps you to organize everything under the media folder, because it can become a quite mess with all files in this one thing, and you easily can lose track of everything. So let's activate this plugin. Happyfiles also has the option with a license key. You can auto update it. For this demo right now, I don't add my key. Next thing we want to add is Brizy. Like I said, with Brizy, I'm going to use a beta variant, so I can already use the WooCommerce editor. So this is the Brizy free version. Okay, Brizy free is installed. Let's activate the plugin. And also let's add the beta version for Pro. Okay, Pro also is installed. Let's activate the plugin. To be able to use Brizy Pro's features, I also need to add a license key. And for this, I go to license. And here he asks me for my license key. And I'm going to paste this one in. And now with the key inside, I can start to use Brizy Pro's feature. So what I also want to add is the option to use Brizy with products, and I want to enable SVG uploads. So let's save that. And for our theme, Blocksy, I also want to add their Blocksy companion plugin, because the companion plugin also comes with some nice features for WooCommerce, and we want to use them. Okay, so this was the Blocksy companion. And here under extensions, you see I have now my WooCommerce extras. I'm going to activate them, and that's that. Okay, so let's take a visit on our website. This now is our Blocksy layout, and here we are going to start to build our shop in the next part of this tutorial. I hope you had some fun, you learned some things, and we see us again in part 2. Bye bye.